Hello, mate. Back again with another one. It's just you and me this time.
What's that?
Just you and me this time, mate. No guest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's all right. It's all
I feel
right.
like, do
We
you know what? Sorry, mate. I said I went back recently. I counted. We've done like, I think it's like 45 now.
really
And isn't it interesting that you and I have never run out of things to talk about? Like, it's always like easy to chat.
this is it, isn't it? And I always find whenever we got someone on, it's a little bit harder to interact. Whereas when it's just me and you, we just like chat and it just kind of like flows, you know?
It feels more relaxed, doesn't it? But when you've got someone else,
Mm.
it doesn't feel as relaxed.
We got to think like we've known each other so long
Yeah,
that it's kind of like it's just the chats would have like in private, but we just record it.
definitely, mate.
So
But even back in the day, every time we used to meet up, it was always like just easy going, wasn't it? It was always
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it
yeah,
was always good
yeah.
in person.
Which is funny because like on Instagram, it would like with clash, not clash, but would like always be like sort of like not arguing, but it's almost like it would always be like would always like oppose each other, and then like in person, it's always like so.
100%. It's always nice in person, mate. But anyway, how you get on?
Yeah, mate, good, good.
Yeah,
Nothing too exciting. I'm getting quite a lot of tattoos at the minute, so obviously leg training is taking a little bit of step back, just because like you can't, even like you're just always sore and it. So, but luckily, like my legs aren't behind,
yeah.
so
You can afford to do it. Lose a bit of that. What you haven't done? Then? What you gonna haven't done?
I'll just do my leg.
Specifically, what?
Oh, the entire thing. So tomorrow I'm gonna have the knee.
Or what designs? What?
Oh, all just the patterns, like the same stuff I've got on everywhere else. I kind of like to stick to the same type
Mm.
design. I don't like mixing different styles.
So, do you find that your fur, like what you used to like, maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, whatever the fuck,
100%.
you don't like it anymore? You or what do you find?
Well, look, you start to shape your style and you start to form your own style. So when I first started out, I had like a few portraits. I had a Pennywise portrait. I had a few other bits like a bird and stuff like that. That now that's not, and it's not so much that it's a bad tattoo. It's actually a great tattoo, but it just doesn't fit with the overall style. It's almost like when you wear like, you can't go out in like non-matched like coordinated clothing. So it's the same thing. That's how I see it anyway. That's how I see it. Some people don't mind that, like having like scatty different tattoos, like different styles. But I can't have that. It just drives my OCD. So for me, it all has to be like has to go in line with a certain style. And so
I totally agree, right? So I know plenty of people who like, let's say 10 years ago or 15 years ago, they got some sort of tribal on their arm or something like that. And then they cover out, and the other arms like clouds. That was a
yeah.
thing, right, as well. And then they go and do some like Maori, some fucking like thing here or something. It's just like to look at that just doesn't look. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what the other thing as well? I find with tattoos, I don't like it when they seem like a stamp.
Right.
So like a badge. Imagine just like random.
Yeah.
I don't like that. I feel like it needs to flow into like whatever.
Yeah. So that's what you call patchwork. So they're kind of like different, like scattered, like little pieces scattered all over.
Hmm.
I don't like that. I like it all kind of like as one.
You come across those people. So they always smoke roll ups. They are a bit like quirky and a bit edgy, right? They look a bit dirty. They look like they need a good wash.
Yeah.
And they've got like loads of like random like they'll have like a turtle, and then they'll have like a fucking cigarette butt or something, and then they'll
Like
have like and you're like,
hippies. Yeah, hippie tattoos. Yeah, no, I can't bear that. Again, like
mm.
everyone's style is different, but that's why there's so many of them. But like color work for me, it's not for me. It's not for me. I wouldn't have color work.
This is it's an interesting one because this is like more your passion than bodybuilding, right? You say.
Look, bodybuilding is always going to be not so much bodybuilding in terms of competitive bodybuilding, but the lifestyle of bodybuilding is always kind of going to take us like is going to be a priority. But the competitive side of bodybuilding, I don't. And again, for me, it's almost like one of these things that I see that as like unless you have the right genetics, trying to to be like to kind of like spend all of your energy on that is just sounds just a bit like a waste of time.
Yeah. Funny though, because I was thinking about it today because I knew that we were going to talk about stuff like this, right? Because I knew it was like, well, I saw you write on your story the other day, and it's just like made me think ever since about like passionate, like your passion isn't within like eating and stuff. And do you know what I thought to myself? Like, you know what you put on today as well. You know, you did Q&A. You said no one cares about like your stupid hacks, what's there. And you know what? I agree, right?
Yeah.
But if you never did anything, you never do anything, right? So genetically, I'm not made for bodybuilding, right? I'm not. So I shouldn't do it. Like by that logic, I should just probably just throw the towel in.
No, I wouldn't agree because you're still probably one of the highest achieving bodybuilders in the country. So that's not, yeah, you're not Phil Heath in that matter, no, but you still have like what 9 show wins or like where I mean, how many people can say that? It's not. I don't see it like that. The way I see it is like for me, I've trained for almost as long as you, I would say, in a way that like, yeah, you've trained longer, but trained properly. And I would say I've trained properly since day one. I know, but it is true because I got into, I mean, I was benching 140 a year into training. So I would say that's pretty serious, because I walked into the gym and I happened to walk into the right type of people, like Aaron Jones and all those guys that were in there that were like already fucking massive, and I kind of like joined their little group, and from
Mario
there,
as well. And Mario was a powerlifter, wasn't he?
Mario, yeah, I used to train with him all the time, yeah, because he was so strong. Well, so strong for what we thought was strong at the time.
Back then, yeah.
But all these guys, like they were like the top dogs in that gym, and that I just followed what they did.
Yeah. I just thought, like, basically after seeing your story today, I thought to myself, it's a real, like, for people watching, what he said was, someone said about, what was the question? About the fact, I can't remember how it was worded, but basically your answer was, I don't bother posting, like, the sets in the gym and stuff.
No, that was his bodybuilding content saturated, which it is, because you get, and the way I think of it is, people that, those people that just record every single set of every single workout. I'm like, bro, the people that chat, the people that do that, right? They're the ones that typically look garbage because it's a waste of fucking time. It's distracting. We've all done that where we've gone and recorded a load of stuff and it's distracting. You put the set on there. Is the lighting right? Is the angle right? To catch me in the right angle so I look big. All of that, it takes away from that set. Whereas I get in the gym, I just train and I get out. I can't be asked for any of that shit. And I think that post-training content is usually to mask for their lack of their physique. I think.
Yeah, it's usually, as you say, like making up for something else, right? But the reason why I think it's like it's a dark road to go down is because if you have that logic, then you honestly wouldn't do anything. Like, so think about this. If someone said, I want to play football, and you said, what's the point of playing football? Loads of people play football. What we do is kick a ball in the net.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like you can have that sort of like negative attitude about anything. What are you powerlifting for? All you do is get fat and like do a couple of lifts. Like, the point I'm making is sometimes you just, if something makes you happy, I agree. Every single set of every single workout, no. But sometimes, even if you're not hugely strong, but it's something that like you feel is fulfilling in your life, maybe it's worthwhile doing.
Don't get me wrong, right? I say like I'm not like passionate, but equally so. Like, for example, like I won't miss a workout. Like today, for example, I was really busy in the morning dealing with having to go to a garage to sort out this car and a load of bullshit. Right, I got back, it was 2 o'clock. I'm like, right, I'm gonna eat. By the time I got ready, and you messaged me, and I was like, right, I've got 45 minutes to an hour, but I can still go and train shoulders in that time. So I'm not just gonna go, fuck it, I'm not gonna bother training. I will still train. I will not miss my workout. I've still had 4 meals. I'll still make sure I get all my meals in, right? I won't skip meals, right? So in a way, but I think that's just consistency of repetition and routine, right?
Yeah,
In a way, like I think people almost take it too serious.
we've spoke about this before. I know we have. So when you answer that question, it wasn't so much bodybuilding isn't my passion. It's more competing isn't my passion. You'll compete if you feel the time is right and you feel your physique is good enough, right? But you won't. That's not the thing for you, right?
Well, no, look, the other question was it was something about about winning an Olympia or your dick never works, right? And I'm like, I couldn't give a fuck about the Olympia. Like, I don't want an Olympia. But more importantly, why is it that every single person that steps into the gym has to compete? Like, it's almost like frowned upon if you don't compete nowadays. It's like, oh, you know, and sometimes a client signs up and in that like questionnaire, you ask them like, what's your goal? I want to compete. Bro, you're just starting the gym. Chill out.
It's the
Just
culture. It's the culture now because when we started, like I started when I was fucking 17. It
yeah,
wasn't a thing. It wasn't like that. It wasn't
no,
like that. We just trained because it was fun. We
yeah.
wanted to be bigger in a t-shirt so girls would like us. Like at no point did I think about competing. Must take me 6 years before I even had the slightest inkling. Like,
And I think like people train as a byproduct of competing, not the
right,
other way around.
right,
They
right,
almost
right.
kind of go, oh, I have to go to the gym because I need to get this
Uh,
workout in
yeah,
because I'm going to compete. Not, oh, I really want to go and train. And I think that's more me, where I'm like, look, I just enjoy training. If I feel like I would want to compete, fine, I will do it. But it's not like my main priority in life. I've got better priorities in life than bodybuilding. Like, for example, like financial stuff and things like that. Like, that's more important. That is way more important in life than bodybuilding. I mean, competitive bodybuilding.
yeah. So that's a funny one. Like when I think about a list of priorities in my life as well, my bodybuilding it does take more of a precedent because it's where my income comes from as well, even though it's not directly from that.
But it's not the bodybuilding. Because if you stop bodybuilding today, you'd still have clients. You'd still have.
Yeah.
So it's not bodybuilding directly doesn't make you money.
No. Okay. Well, bodybuilding directly costs money directly.
Yes, yeah.
But the byproduct of being of a certain standard means that I'm able to. Yeah. Okay. Um. You know what? Oh man, I don't have that. Obviously, I've always been into the competing side of things, and it's like it stems from even from like a young age. Like I want to compete at everything I do, no matter what the fucking thing is. I always feel like I want to try and beat people at it.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't know, man. It's almost like a problem. Like I can never just be relaxed about stuff. I have to try and
Yeah.
beat. Like it's kind of annoying sometimes.
I think the
That's what.
reality is some of us just need to look kind of like ahead and think, right, how far can I get with this? And what like the amount of effort that this requires, how much can I get out of it? Whereas if you put 99, 100% effort, it's a lot of effort. It takes up a lot of your time. Whereas I'm like, right, I'm going to put 70% effort into, meaning I'm still going to train, I'm still going to get all my meals in, but I'm not like super fucking anal about it. I'm still going to get probably 95% of the benefits, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah,
Pretty
yeah.
much.
It does, but I think a lot of people. So it's a really like poignant thing to us because like I have so many clients. I've had even a couple of like, and I'm going to say it here, which is a little bit risky saying this because I'm not understand I'm not mocking anyone. But I've had even a few new inquiries literally within the last
Yeah.
5 days, and they literally say, "I'm going to compete. I'm going to do this." So I had a guy Saturday. So I was watching Amy compete. Probably half hour before Amy came on stage, I had a message on WhatsApp. Sorry, Instagram, and I opened it up. And it was a guy, really, really nice guy. So if he does watch this, like on the off chance, you're a lovely guy, but you need to know that there's like levels. Okay,
Yeah.
you can have been training for a long time, and sure enough, you built a load of muscle. But basically, what he said to me was, "I want to be a monster. I want to compete, and I want to take over. I want everyone to be like, where does this monster come from?" And blah blah blah. So he had these aspirations to be like elite tier, right? And I'll be honest with you, he's got like an okay level of muscle, but quite a lot of body fat. You know,
Yeah,
I don't think people realize like you don't just buy it down once and then all of a sudden you dominate.
yeah,
Like
no.
the people who are dominating, and when I say dominating, I say it in inverted commas, have been doing it for how long? Like name a high level bodybuilder who's been doing it less than 5 years. Probably like it's usually one hand. There are some freaks, they're young and they're just very, very good. But generally speaking, the
Even
people
then, though, bro, they're still, if someone's in their mid-20s, because it still takes time. Like, no matter how good you are, how good your genetics are, I think you still need time under the bar to get to that point. So
level
you're
of
still
density.
training 10 years. I would say you're still training 10 years.
So even those guys who we call genetic freaks because they're like 25 and they're amazing, right? Let's just say they've usually started training when they're like 14, 15, right? You know what I mean? So as you just said, there's still a depth.
And again, 25, who?
Yeah, you'd struggle to name 5 people at 25 who are elite.
I can't think. I can't think of a 25-year-old that you think, oh, fucking hell. Like,
There probably is, but they're hard to come by.
I mean, people, it's no, I mean, in people that we know, people that are like within
No.
vicinity. I don't know anyone like that.
As I say, that I'm sure there are some, and there might even be someone watching who think, "Hey, I'm young," and that's fair enough. But generally speaking, it takes 10 years of training plus, and it
Yeah.
takes 5 years plus of competing. So you don't just start competing and start dominating. It
No.
takes you the first year you cut your teeth, right? You might be lucky to even place. Cool. You might do this, that, and that. Okay, cool. Year 2, improve a little bit. Year 3, people go straight from nothing to pro card, overalls, pro cards, and it's like
Yeah.
no, there's an
And I
order
think
of things.
those people, they just need to be brought down to earth a little bit. I'll literally straight up be like, look, you're delusional, right? I won't even sugarcoat it. I'll just be like, mate, you're just delusional at the minute. Like, you just don't get it. You don't get it. You don't just become, and it's not, and it's not just about how much work you're willing to put in. Muscle builds at a rate that you can't help, right? You can only build so much muscle. If you put in 200% rate work compared to 100% rate work, you ain't going to progress faster.
Right? Yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, you can't like if you're 100%, you're going as fast as you can. You can't speed that up, and you can't eat more food to then increase anabolism either.
Oh.
Your body can only take so much, and over time you just build fat. Right? Yeah. So it's not like 300 grams of protein gives you X amount of gains. What if I do 600 grams? Like no, that's not the way it works. You can't just double your protein take and expect double the muscle.
Yeah,
and
there are people that kind of like in their first year they do everything right, not right, but they get most things right, and they make a big jump in progress. And then from there, it's very underwhelming, isn't it? Because you kind of go, well, why can't I do that again? Well, it doesn't work like that.
Do you know what? I literally had this conversation this morning. Literally this morning. So a client of mine called Peter Kane, the guy with the really good.
Yeah, I know him. Yeah,
lovely
bloke. I chat to him quite a bit. He is very. I don't want to say the wrong word. He's got a really good physique, but he's almost kind of like he gets caught up in certain things that are like we spoke about DNP last week with him, and because he spoke about the podcast that we'd done, and he was like, "Oh, Ryan will probably kick me out if I asked him to DNP." I was like, "Ryan," I said, that's how me and Ryan met."
Yeah, that's how we met. Yeah.
I said he's got a fair share of fucking DNP cycles in him. So I said, look, if you really wanted to use it, I'm sure he would let you. But the question is, do you need it?
Yeah. So our comments. So yeah, he's a lovely bloke, and he definitely. Do you know, he reminds me a little bit of you. In the sense that he wants to try everything. Like he's like almost like he's very into the biology, like the scientific side of the biology, right? Sorry, chemistry, should we say, not biology, chemistry.
Yeah.
So, and we had a load of back and forths, and he has got to go low. But genetically, he builds muscle fast, and he loses fat slow.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's just his genetic predisposition. He's already on quite low food, but I think the reason why I say this is because he needs to experience how slow this process is. Because when we first started, he was like, I want to do this, I want to do this. And by this point, I want to do this point. And by this, I want to do this. And this. And it's like, I'm like, whoa, one step at a time. Because you can't just start talking about like Nick Walker level muscle when you're so brand new to bodybuilding. You've got to earn your stripes.
100%. Yeah.
You know, how many, in fact, Kate, let me put this to you. How many people in their first year won an overall? First year competing. I know one, and it's my client, Dan Lim. His
Yeah.
first show he won an overall. It was the first time show, right?
Yeah. And again, the level of show matters.
Yeah, sure. Definitely. It was the first time show, and he was far and away the best dude there.
Yeah.
The level was lower. But of a normal level show, how many people are first year of competing winning an overall? How many?
I mean, again, there are people that train them for 10 years and get that physique, but that's very rare. So like Lucas did that last year. Like obviously did that, right? But he's been training for so long, and in the end, he actually obviously decided to do it. But that's not common.
He is rare.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a freak. So there you go. We can name one. I mean, if we really put our heads together, we could probably come up with a couple more. But basically, in reality, it's just not going to happen for 99.9% of competitors.
No.
So once you realize that muscle building isn't as fast as you think, fat loss probably isn't as fast as you think. Like it's a process. It takes time.
It's not just that. I think there's a lot more to just. I'm just going to get lean, and there's a lot more to competitive bodybuilding than getting lean and having enough muscle. There's tan, there's stage presence, there's confidence on stage, how you pose and how you present yourself. There's posing. There's so many things that you can have a great physique, but if you don't tick these boxes, if your tan is shit, well, you're kind of fucked. If you're like my tan was fucking awful because I didn't know. I put it on myself, and I should have paid for the tan and just done it, but I couldn't be bothered to go there the day before.
Yeah, I mean the presentation, but then also it's like weird because I think some people, I don't know if you agree with me or not, but I think there's a limitation on how lean some people can get. So some people just really like, in fact, the best example is Louis.
I thought you were going to say that.
Yeah, Louis is the best example. Yeah. Like, fucking, so how well does he hold off season? In off season, he's just a big dude, strong.
Bro, anyone can get fat. I tell you that much. Anyone can get on body fat. Anyone can, because
no. He doesn't just look super fat. He looks really, really full. Yes, he is holding fat. Of course, he's holding fat. Like everyone does, right? But my point being is, when he comes down, like he gets to a certain point, and it's almost like his body just goes, "Oh," and it stops responding.
I think there's a combination. It's the insulin, which you know that anyway. When you bang in load and load of insulin, when you bang in 40 A's Atlantis and you're taking in, 10 A's of rapid pre-workout, yeah, you'll look full, but I don't know. I think there's still like that factor of it's not the same fullness as like some of the pro bodybuilders that are 300 pounds. It's still kind of like structurally it's not there.
Agreed. So I guess we can go back and forth on that.
And he does hold body fat favorably. That's
yes, that's my point. Yeah.
He tends to he holds it not in his midsection. He holds a decent amount in his lower body, which obviously just makes your legs look bigger. He holds it in his back quite a lot, which is his like lacking body part, if you will.
So in contrast, the way that me personally, how I hold it, but don't get me wrong, I don't think that I look bad in off season, but I also think I look way bigger.
Your off season look is so much more underwhelming compared to your prep look. In prep, you look fucking like it's like fucking hell, like a different guy. Whereas I'm one of those people as well that I hold my off season look better. Like I look better in the off season than I do in prep, and that's just down to, I think that's down to not having the muscle there yet. Because obviously, I'm still young, so in 5 years that might change. But for now, it's just that immaturity of muscle that just makes it look quite underwhelming.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Worse in the off season, and you look way better in.
So you would say
in prep.
that the reason why someone would look better in prep and worse in off season, like me, is that it's down to the level of muscle that I hold.
I
So
think
like
so.
I've been trying to work it out.
The
It's
more
so
muscle you
weird.
have, also the more water you're going to hold.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
It's
I
like,
think.
oh, I'm sorry.
No, you go. What?
Yeah,
Just hear what you
I've
think.
been trying. I like pick apart my physique, and I'm like, so my legs look smaller in off season. My
Yeah.
waist is bigger. The details obviously not there. Nothing pops. It's like I just look kind of like, once upon a time I remember hearing a podcast. I think it was like Dennis James, the
Yeah,
Menace
yeah, yeah.
podcast.
Dennis James. Yeah, yeah.
They were talking about Chris Cormier. Now don't get me wrong, listen, I'm not comparing myself, like it's a totally different level. But they were saying about Chris Cormier that he didn't look as impressive on his own because everything was just so balanced.
Right.
Whereas when you look at like Ronnie Coleman, it's just like freak,
Oh,
yeah. But Chris Cormier was like so like everything was just like okay, and it didn't nothing popped necessarily. It was just all in proportion, and that kind of that's what I feel like with my off-season shape. It's nowhere near on his level, is what I'm saying. But what I mean is, there's no pop. It's all just like
I'll tell
okay,
you what. If you were
okay,
3 inches shorter and your arms were like, and your shoulders weren't as wide, and your arms were like,
yeah,
so in proportion, you would look a lot bigger, right? But it's because you're tall, and that just elongates everything.
I'm
But
tall
also,
and wide.
wide, yeah,
Yeah,
wide, and obviously you got wide back, wide shoulders, and it's like, and your arms like just don't get that same like look to when you get lean. Your arms come in, and it looks a lot more impressive. Um, that roundness, like when you see like a black guy, when you see a black guy, and even in the off season when they quite hold a decent amount of body fat, they still look big because
yeah,
I think their arms look a lot bigger.
yeah, definitely,
So I
definitely.
think that could be a factor.
It's like the body fat and like water just doesn't hold favorably in off season for me. It just doesn't seem. It's not like my arms go super pumped. Like my arms are the same size in off season. Like okay, here's a good example. My clothes fit the same in off season and prep. The only thing that's different is my stomach.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's not like my t-shirts how tight they are now. In prep, it's exactly the same.
Again, it's
It's
because
just
you don't hold that much body fat. So, like you said, 4 week diet for you on your story this morning, a
yeah,
4 week mini cut for you. It's halfway through prep, so you don't hold much body fat because you got the muscle. Whereas I think a lot of us we don't hold the muscle there yet. Me, Louis. So when you start putting on weight, you just put on body fat. So that body fat makes you look bigger and bigger in the gym in a way
yeah, yeah.
because it's almost like, especially when it's more favorable, you look a lot better.
Yeah, so this is another interesting one. I speak to a lot of people. I'm sure you do too. I'd quite like to know your opinion. Do you prefer being on some sort of diet phase where you're going down, or do you prefer going up? Which is your preference?
You know, I prefer when going down, I think halfway through. So the first 4 weeks suck because you're still
Yeah,
full, your digestion's still in there, but you look worse. You look like shit, right? As you then 4 weeks in, between 4 and 8, you look better. You look good because you're still big, you're still full, but your training's really good. So you're almost like improving in that stage because you're like your training's ticking a lot better. You got a lot more energy. You feel great. You're not hungry, and then that's probably the sweet spot.
I think I'd agree with you. So I hate off season because, as we just touched on, I don't look as good. I look less impressive. So every time I see myself, I'm like, yeah, whatever. The other one is I'm not a big eater, and then the other one is I genuinely get stronger when I bring the food down. Like you say, training flying. So what I'm doing now in this little like mini cut, like even though I hate the expression, but like even though I'm doing it, so the reason why I'm doing it is because the idea of the rest of this year just force feeding is just
Mm-hmm.
miserable, man. So I know that if I just do a little 4 week diet phase, sensitize myself, I'm going to start
Yeah.
looking a lot better. So yeah, it just sort of makes sense, I think.
And you feel better in the gym because you look better. So you almost makes you want to go to the gym. When you're full and you look like shit, when I start to look like shit, that's when I start to not want to go to the gym because one, I can't get a pump. So I can't get a pump and I look shit. So I'm like, I don't even want to go to the fucking gym.
But mate, that's it. Do you find that you get a better pump in off season or prep?
Prep.
100%. this is something I spoke to Craig about. Actually, Craig was always like when he gets like chest pump in off season, he loves it, and I'm like, oh man, my chest pump in off season is just like, oh, I don't know.
There's not a body part that I like training in the off season that I think I mean legs maybe legs, but even then though, you know when you get lean and you're like stupidly lean, well, for relatively to yourself, and then you start putting the food back in and you go and train legs like a few sets and your legs are about to burst.
Yes,
No, I just don't get that. I go in and I'm like, it's okay. You know when you leave the gym and you think, do they train that hard actually?
yeah,
You
100%.
know?
I always feel like it's nice hearing you say this actually, because funny enough, I don't really talk to that many people about this specific subject, but off season just doesn't seem to work for me. Loads of people seem to eat food and they get super bursting full. I never really get that. I'm just sort of plodding along in the off season. It just feels like a plod. And some people are like let me think of an example. Okay, Alex Lord.
Mate, how did I know you were going to say him? When you said that, I literally thought him. Because I watch his videos and he's fucking massive. And I'm like, I tell you why, it's because he's short. I think it's because he is short. That's probably what he is.
If off season was like that, if I could get that level of thickness, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I don't look like that. I look shitter.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I'm the same.
What the fuck? He looks like a monster. How the like? He's not the only one though. There's a few others that are like that. You know, you just see him, you're like, okay. And
how old is it that I thought of Alex when you said that? When you said some people that look bursting for him, Alex Lord, and I knew you were going.
Yeah, man. It's because it's like every time I see his updates, I literally have to like double watch it. I'm like,
yeah,
fuck.
I watched this like he did like a hack squat set when Martin was spotting him. And I was just thinking his arms. I was like, what? He was doing a hack squat. And I was just looking at his arms. I was like, what these fucking triceps? What the fuck?
Yeah, he looks bonkers, mate. So if you think about it as well, at the top level, like the top level, look at like Derek Lunsford.
Yeah.
He arguably looks better when he's full. You know, like when he's have you seen him like off season versus stage, like a side by side? He probably looks better off season. And the amount of muscle that he carries, he looks like a cartoon character. He literally looks.
I think again, I know a short guy. Think of someone tall.
I've got it.
Don't say Samson. He doesn't count. He's black. Yeah. He doesn't count. But think about this.
Okay. Think of
Ian Valliere. Think about Ian Valliere, for example. When he's in the off season, he doesn't look that great, does he? Because again, white guy genetics. White guy genetics is that. It's that. That's it.
Right. Okay. So here's the criteria: 6 foot or above.
Yeah.
White. In off season, who actually looks really full and really good. Name one.
I mean, to begin with, who even is an off like a pro in that's over 6 foot? I can't even think.
Straight away, my brain goes to like like Adam McNabb, Jamie Jahal, Josh Maley, Josh Law, Nate. Okay, oh shit, there you go. Josh Law.
Josh Law is probably the only one
Josh Law is probably the biggest guy in off season.
That looks that when you look at him and you think, oh fucking hell.
Josh Law, do you know what he looks like? He looks like he looks like he does on stage, just bigger.
I know.
Like he doesn't like all the detail is exactly the same as when he's
like, yeah, I know.
Shit. I don't think we're gonna find one, but we literally have.
But when you look at everyone else, they just look a bit underwhelming in the off season.
Nave Styles as well. He put up a photo the other day and he was like 340 pounds. What the fuck? And he had sharp leg detail.
Sure, but I still think he looks a lump in the off season. But if you take his clothes off and you look at him, like compared to when he's in prep, I think you're gonna think, yeah, I think the prep look is a lot better.
Yeah, but I don't know many people who can put on 50 pounds of body weight and still have like cross striations in their quads.
Yeah. Well, again, he's not that heavy relative to his stage weight because he's near on 300 pounds on stage, isn't he? I think he did that qualifier at 296 or something. So if you put on 50 pounds in body weight, plus the heavier you are, the more water weight you carry. So technically, he's probably only about 30. He's probably like 15 pounds of body fat, and the rest is just probably water that's gone on his body.
Yeah. Yeah, yes, that's a good point. Relative, because he's so much bigger than like, the average person. Like yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so we've come across one. Then there's one white dude above 6 foot who can actually pull off an off season and look massive.
Yeah,
Josh Law.
but that's it. That's it.
Josh Law, take a bow, my friend. Take a
Yeah,
bow. Yeah, there is. I don't think there is a us. So,
I
no,
mean,
I
there
wanted to
are
say
guys
something.
that tell you what, age is the factor. Look at Jim Giorgio, right? That's a factor because as you start to get older, I think you start to just like your skin gets thinner and you start to look different.
So yeah, like masters bodybuilders. They're quite often they're like grainy. They
Yeah.
look really hard, but their skin's a bit saggy. You know what I'm
Yes.
on about? Yeah, like it
Yeah,
doesn't
because
have
it's
the same.
thinner.
It doesn't have the same elasticity.
No.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm worried that that's going to happen to me. But at the moment, I'm 36,
Ah,
mate.
you're young, yeah. You're
I
still
feel, yeah, I
young.
feel like my skin still like looks young.
Yeah.
You know.
See, do you not? That's the thing I think I noticed with Louis. Louis's got like a saggy skin for some reason. Why is that? When you look at him, he just kind of looks droopy. Like his skin.
Droopy.
No, but you know what I mean, though. His skin just kind of looks like you look at his arms and you just think they just look like mashed potatoes. I don't know
So
if it's horrible, but why is that?
this is actually a thing. So when I was coaching him, we couldn't work it out. Right? So if you were to do this or me, right, it goes
Yeah.
fucking hard, right? If you squeeze, it goes hard and you can
He's
pinch
still
it.
got like the fucking like separation, you know? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
and still some vascularity, yeah. Right.
Yeah,
But with Louis, we could never work it out. He would squeeze his arms literally, like I'm not kidding. He'd be literally like squeezing as hard as he could, and I could still squish his bicep. It wasn't
yeah,
hard. His muscle wasn't hard. So what then that would lead to is his skin wouldn't be taut. You know what I mean?
yes.
You know when when your skin's taut,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah. The skin's like pressed against the skin.
exactly, but it wouldn't do that. And so what we did, we used to think, okay, well maybe it's hydration, maybe it's like electrolytes. Okay, it wasn't that. So then we thought, all right, maybe it's carbs, maybe it's because he's empty, and we need to fill him up. So
I was going to say that. Yeah.
we tried various different things, and he was never hard. We couldn't work it out. So I don't
But
know.
why is it just in the upper? Like his legs don't look like that. His legs look.
His legs get harder, yeah. I actually don't know. I truly, and in fact, me and him joked about it quite a lot, and we still joke about it to this day. He's got such a curious body, like it's really hard to work his body out. And I'm
Yeah,
so glad now that other people have coached him because now it's not just like, oh, Ryan couldn't work it out. Because
yeah, yeah.
now he's been with Jimmy. Jimmy understands. Now he's with Christian. Christian will also understand. His body is hard to work out. It really is.
And I think like it's not like they haven't tried different stuff. Like Jimmy had him on all the different style training, different style dieting, all that stuff, and it still just doesn't seem to.
And the gear protocol as well. Like Jimmy uses like more than double what I would be using for it as well. So yeah,
And that's
very
kind
interesting.
of like how I see myself when I look at other people. I'm like compared to like other people, I'm like, I am not going to be like as dedicated as Louis because my physique is kind of like at that point where it's just kind of average. So to kind of look average or below average, I'm not gonna go and
Right. Okay. So I don't agree, and I'm not just saying this because you're here. Like I'm not saying it to like you don't need me to fucking stroke your ego. You don't need all that shit. And
no.
but you're not
Okay,
average, mate. You're not.
okay, maybe not, but below average. But
Okay.
I'm not where I'm happy with it. Does that make sense?
You're 26.
Yeah,
You're still young. By
but
the
I've
time
been
you're
training
30,
10 years.
okay, but by the time you're 30, you're not average. Let's get that off the table. You're fucking not average. You're not. If you'd been prepped and peaked correctly, the result would have been different, and you would feel different about yourself.
Maybe.
Do you think that?
Well, we'll find out next year.
There's no way that you're average. You've got too many good body parts.
Bro,
Like your arms are standing out. Your back's very good. The only thing that isn't good on you is probably torso. So here,
yeah.
like abs and chest is probably the subpar bit, but
Maybe that's why.
everything else on you is above average.
You know, when you look at that front and you just think that lets a lot of the physique down because if you've got like good torso and good abs, that makes the physique, you know.
But think about, like when I think of like a good, so we never mentioned him when we were talking about the best body parts. Fucking Don Valley, Ryan Withy, like his chest,
I
like
know.
his chest, shoulders, arms, and midsection, like that look.
Yeah,
Wow,
that is
that
the
is a
look.
hell of a look.
Maybe
Like
it's because we
if I
haven't
could
got that.
if I could snap my fingers and have like I would have that. Honestly, I would.
I bet you though, if you ask him, he won't think much of it. But both of us, because we haven't got that, because like up top, we're kind of, I mean, your midsection is really good, but like
Chest.
compared to, because you're long as well, so you're still tall. It's like, yeah, I think that look for him is that look that everyone would want.
Let's get it up whilst we're
He's
so
got
yeah. I
like
mean,
he's got like black guy bubbleness, you know?
100%. I feel like we should have mentioned him when we were talking about like best body parts. So
For
I think
sure.
I
For
think
sure.
just him stood there relaxed is one of the best.
I know. I know.
Yeah, like, there you go. Look,
Yeah. That yeah. Yeah.
it looks like he's been blown up with a fucking. It looks like boom.
Yeah.
Unbelievably good. Like his genetics for his chest.
And he holds body fat quite well.
He's another one that looks really good in off season. Man, what the fuck is that? He literally looks like he's been blown up by a fuck like with air.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh shit, there you go.
And see, the thing with him is his head. That is his biggest downfall. Because he will often have chats, me and him. And because he pulled out a prep and he one day, like he's like, "Oh mate, can I ring you?" Because it's like my head's like all over the place. I was like, yeah. I think that's when I was away or something. So I was like, I'm away, so you can't really ring me. Because I was like in Turkey. So because obviously like calls are a lot more expensive than that. But I said, just talk to me if like there's anything you want. Just because he ran in like he tore his hamstring or something. He sprinted, and he messaged me. He's like, do you reckon I'll still get him like in shape? I was like, yeah. I said, just diet.
He was probably looking for an out, wasn't he? He was looking for a reason
Maybe,
to stop.
maybe.
Yeah, he voice noted me and just said, like, my head's not in it. What shall I do? I said, right, stage can wait, man. It's not like this is your last chance. Like, just chill, chill.
100%.
Yeah, chill. Come back when you're ready. You and I both know that feeling, right? So this year, when we were on it, we were on it. And then all of a sudden, we were out of it, and it was like, fuck no.
Yeah, oh yeah. If you say to me
This,
prep now, I'll be like, fucking no way.
if this is not in it, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
fucked. You're fucked.
Give me 6 months and I'm gonna want to do it again. It's one of them.
I think
I've only got
like,
so much like kind of like ability to sustain that.
say again.
You've only got so long of like an
Like,
ability to sustain that.
yeah, I mean, for me, I'm ready to go now, but I'm only doing this mini one. I'm not doing a proper one. But I'd love to be able to do it. I think with my nipples and stuff, it's just pretty not wise. I just wait a little bit more. But something I wanted to say about what we were talking about earlier is I feel like when everyone wants to compete, like whatever happens to just training because you like training, right? Here's the other thing: bodybuilding isn't for everyone. It's
No.
not for everyone. Like I've got clients, and I'm sure you've come across them too. They're like 20% body fat. Their food's already low. Their cardio is fairly high, and they are literally on their ass. They're struggling like fuck. You could say, well, that person's been led to that point, and therefore it's poor coaching. But no, 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 no. I just generally think some people's genetics do not favour bodybuilding.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
genetically, their body wants to hold fat, and becoming a bodybuilder is just not written in the stars for them, And I don't think this is talked about enough. Like, it's just not for everyone. It's not. If you are 20% body fat and you're literally on your ass, no, you're in for a really tough time. You're in for a really tough time.
And I think if you do tough it out and you get out of that and you get lean but most people don't have the willpower to do that.
Well, imagine what you got. Imagine if you're on your ass and you're 20% body fat. Imagine what it takes to get down to like 6 to 8%.
And at that point, there's no way out because you can't go up because you're only going to get fatter.
Yeah.
So
I,
it's just a catch-22 at that point.
yeah, it's just not for everyone. Just because you're, you know, people you admire do it, and just because your friend does it, just because your mate at the gym said, "Oh, mate, you should compete," doesn't mean you should. You
But
know,
I
you,
also think people that are 20% body fat often lie about what they say they eat. You know, if someone says I'm 20% body fat and I eat 2,000 calories, bullshit. No, you don't.
right. So I've got about 3 clients like this right now.
Yeah.
Right now, there's this guy called Craig, and I think I sent you screenshots of him. Whatever, anyway. So yeah, he claims that he can barely get the food in. It's like 2,000
Oh
calories.
yes, yeah, we spoke about this. Yes.
Yeah, and he weighs 107 kilos. Uh, but in the last 2 weeks, he has said he's done 100%. And in 2 weeks, eating 2,000 calories, he's lost like a kilo.
Yeah, yeah. He's not eating 2,000 because remember the problem was he was actually adding in like random stuff to his diet, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what I'm saying. And again, people, it's always like when people do that, they go, "Oh, I'm just going to add this in, and it's not going to add anything. You know, it's not going to add
Yeah.
anything." And these are the bits that actually do add up.
So they see the diet plan as more of a guide. It's like a
Yeah.
guide, you know. He's told me to have this, but I'm gonna have no. It's okay, you know. And like they just chop and change, whatever, right?
Or they think, well, it's the white rice that makes me lean. So it's the white rice and the chicken. That's the special like
Ah,
concoction that makes me lean. And then that will make me lean still. And the other bits is kind of like on top.
so the other bits are to enjoy, but then the chicken and rice is the lean bit. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right. I'll just keep my radio. So looks like it's leaking. No, it's not. You reckon that these people are just lying? 100%.
Most of them, yeah. Because I struggle to find a person that is quite active, fairly active, and is eating 2,000 calories, a male at 107 kilos. If you're 107 kilos, right, that is near on 240 pounds, you're not eating 2,000 calories. Not a chance.
Oh man, I totally agree with you, but for some fucking reason, I keep getting clients that are like that. I don't know why. What?
It doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense.
So what do I like? Honestly, I would love to be able to like, if they lived local. Honestly, I would love to like sneak up on them and find
What I
out what they're
do
doing.
with those clients is because they're kind of like clueless about what calories are. So I'll dramatically up their food, but in a way that they won't realize. So if you give someone 400 grams of potato, right? I'm going to say, have that, but in rice amounts or like in things that are like, because potato is quite low calorie, right? But you add, instead of chicken, you add salmon, you know, salmon's like, you know, 2 fillets, so you're getting 500 calories. And, you know, you'll do that, you sneak the food in where it's a lot higher density of food and a lot more calories, right? So and then they'll go, oh yeah, I'm still the same amount of weight. So right, so you eat 2,000 calories and you're not losing weight, but when you're on 3,500 calories, you're still the same weight. Huh.
Okay, so you're like you'll actually up it. You'll actually put the
Yeah.
food in, right?
And I'll up it dramatically. Like I might add nuts in it, you know, things like that. They're gonna think, oh well, that's not got that many calories in there.
Yeah, okay. Chicken thighs instead of chicken, right?
Yeah,
Different cuts of beef, different fattier beef. I feel
I'll
like,
just give them like a fat steak or something.
yeah, yeah. I had a thought this week. And I know that it's never going to happen, but honestly, I feel like I would love to do it. I'd love to find out where they work, call it up, and speak to one of their colleagues and say, look, I know this is weird,
Yeah,
but can you keep an eye on Craig? And if you tell me what he eats throughout the day, I'll give you, I don't know, fucking
£100.
£100.
Yeah.
£100, and what you've got to do is you've got to take a photo every time you eat something like new, right? Do you reckon that's too far? Do you reckon I should do like? Is there some law against doing that?
No, that's
I
just
reckon there's like stalking to it.
gathering information.
Oh man,
Yeah.
honestly, I actually had the thought this week. I thought, honestly, I would love to know, like, because it drives me up the wall. It fucking drives me mad. They just never lose weight. They never lose weight, and they're eating fuck all food. I
they're
think to
not.
myself,
And I think it's embarrassing for them to say, "Oh, I binged" or anything like that, because it's embarrassing. You know, it's kind of like embarrassing to admit that you can't stick to something. You know,
yes, sir.
and I think there's a lot more going on there, because look at this, right? If you're a guy of average stature, you're not training, you're not a bodybuilder, you're not taking gear, and you're 107 kilos, you're that's years and years of bad choices. So I think there's a lot more going on there than just not knowing what to eat.
Hmm. Fucking frustrating. Honestly, like it's so frustrating. I don't know how to get around it. I will say this, and you experienced.
I'm telling you, up his food in the way that you won't know that you've sneaked. For example, just say have like 50 grams of nuts, right? High density food that you'll add 1,000 calories in there without him even knowing.
What if he's what? But then what if I do that and his weight goes up, and then he's like, "What the fuck?"
Well, then you'll know. Then you'll kind of be like, okay, maybe, or relative. I mean, relatively, it probably will go up just because of the fact that you're adding in calories, but by how much? Because you know, if you're someone that's on 2,000 calories and you add 1,500 calories on top, you're putting on kilos and kilos. If you add 0.5 kilos, you think you're probably not far off what you're actually in.
You not think though that some people have just got really poor genetics. So, for example, right, think of it on the flip side. You know those guys like just remember Simeon Panda? Like he's really out of the limelight these days, but do you remember like it was always like natty or not, whatever.
Yeah,
Like who gives a fuck? But anyway, genetically, he's just like he's got those like West African genetics, right? And no one believed that he's natural. But I think it's possible because he's just got such elite level genetics.
yeah.
So could that same not be true, but the reverse? Could these guys just not have incredibly poor genetics?
Look, it's possible, but thermodynamics always works. I think no matter how you slice it, if you think energy in, energy out, you can't you can't be putting in you can't be a 110 kilo body, which requires X amount of food to sustain its actions, to sustain the what you do throughout the day, and that to be 2,000 calories. I just don't see how.
Uh,
If you're that heavy, you didn't get that heavy by not trying or just by, So I think you can't, you still have to go by logic and just think, yeah, if you're that heavy, it's not just, people don't get that fat just by chance.
right. I just added in, so he's doing this dude, this same dude. He's doing 5 lots of cardio and he plays rugby once a week. And he's on like 2,000 calories and he's barely losing. And he's still
Right,
saying
there's no chance he's eating 2,000 calories, right? Just think of the demand a rugby session will put on you. Just think back in school when you used to do rugby. If you're doing rugby, like a little bit like, remember that Dan Pope?
Yeah.
Exactly the same way.
He was always struggled losing weight as well, didn't
Yeah.
he? But he used to lie, surely. He must just be lying.
No, he was straight up. He'll be like, you, mate, I ate this and I ate that and I ate this. So he would be honest. But
yeah.
But it will be very similar to that, where you kind of set him on a certain amount of food, but he's eating a lot more, and he'll just tell you, he'll say, look, I had this.
Oh, I've got a client like that as well. They just tell me, he's like, I eat this. Every day he cheats. Every single day.
Yeah.
Every day.
And this is the thing, like I'd much rather you say, look, and I tell you what, when these people cheat, what I will do is I'll set their baseline higher to where people just like I'd much rather go, right, we'll put your food up quite high. If you put on a little bit of weight for now, that's okay. But I just want to make sure that you kind of like get to that baseline too. And eventually you'll stop putting on weight.
This dude, though, he was like, I've got a deadline. I've got my best mate's wedding. So I need to be in shape by this date. It was in September. He started like 2 months ago. And he was like, this is too much food for me, bro. We need to lower it. So I went, okay, cool. Bro, this is too much food for me. So I lowered it. He was still cheating every week. So I said, instead of me lowering the food, why don't you just do the plan and don't cheat?
Yeah.
Then we go. But he just couldn't. Every week he cheated. Every week.
The other thing as well is with the drinks. So this guy, he wasn't losing weight. And I said, like, you must be doing something not right, because I'm keep lowering your food and you're still not losing. Like how, like I said, right, walk me through your entire day as you go. So he goes, so I get up, I'll have my first meal, I'll leave to work. On the way to work, I stop at Costa. I'm like, right. I said, what do you get at Costa? We'll get a latte. Right, okay. And how much is that latte? It's like about, and I showed him, I said, look, you just see it as a coffee, because I say, like, you can have coffee, right? But they take it as, you're talking
Yeah.
black coffee or a splash of milk or like whatever. No. They're talking a full fat fucking latte.
Like 200-300 calories.
Oh, more than that. More than that. If you have like one of those like large Costa lattes, let's look it up. If you have a large Costa latte calories. So skim milk is 209 with skim milk. So if you're talking about full fat milk, which is like whole milk, you're talking a lot more. 292. So 300 calories, right? He has one at lunch as well. So that's, you're adding 600 calories there, Plus,
So
if you that's without adding sugars in that, so if he's adding sugars,
let's say he adds oil into his food as well, cooking oil.
mm-hmm.
And sauces, mayonnaise maybe or something like that. So, but the thing is with this dude, right? So I caught him out, and he was doing all those things. He added in 5 different foods in a day, but then for the last 2.5 weeks, been 100% in his words, 100%, and he still only lost 1 kilo in 2 weeks after cutting all of that shit out.
Yeah.
5 cardio sessions, 5 training
He's
sessions,
adding in other
rugby.
stuff. That's if he is doing that much output, that's putting in a large amount of output, demand caloric on his body. So he's no chance he's eating 2,000 calories. I just can't see it. I mean, think how you would feel on 2,000. You don't even go down to 2,000 calories.
No, never.
So
man, I don't know. Then I don't know. Like maybe I'm too trusting of these people, but how can you keep lying? Do people just lie that much?
yeah.
You really think? Like if I questioned him again and again and again, every time he just lies, you honestly think that that's what's going on?
Yeah. Because again, it's easier than just to admit that you're doing that.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I call these people out straight away, And again, like the thing with the fucking lattes, me and Kev were in the gym training, and we see this guy, and he comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, I'm really trying to lose weight. Like I'm getting married in like a couple of months." And he actually, in fact, at the end, he come up to me and I coached him, and he got him in pretty good shape for his wedding. He goes, "I don't even need that much." He said, "I do drink a lot of coffee though." I'm like, "Right." He said, "I drink 7 lattes a day." I'm like,
What?
Yeah, no fucking word of a lie. He said that to us. And I was just like, look, just pull that shit out and you're going to start losing weight. And he did. And then towards the end, like I finished his diet and he got married and that, and he was really happy with it. But yeah, people just have no concept of what's in those drinks.
As you say, damn, it's just a coffee. But they don't even consider it food. Crazy.
And then I haven't eaten.
Well,
You've had 2,000 calories fucking worth of coffee.
I think as well, people do stuff like they always go into autopilot. So they'll just like, let's say someone's birthday at the office, and there's a cake.
Yeah.
Hey, is anyone want a piece of cake? Yeah. They just have a piece of cake and they didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
They just go, it's fine. And all of those little bits throughout the week, it's just like, I don't know. But mate, anyway, I wanted to talk to you as well about some more Two Bros judging.
Yeah. Tell me about the show on the weekend, Amy.
Exactly.
Amy show.
So there's a few things. So I'll start with Amy. So 2 weeks ago, she'd done a qualifier.
Yeah.
She wasn't 100% conditioned, but she knew that.
Yeah.
She was purposely keeping herself fresh, and she didn't even struggle at all to get there. And she came third, and the 2 girls that beat her were in better condition. They were. But they didn't have better structure, but they were in better condition. So they rewarded condition, right? The girl that won that category went on and won the overall. She won everything. So Amy dug in. She come down 3 kilos more. She was on
Mate,
the stage.
I
Say
saw
again?
one of the stories and I thought, fuck me, that jaw is like insane.
And yeah, when she chews, you can see striations in her jaw, man. Like she put it in. So she was 55.5 on stage
Mhm.
2 weeks ago. Then her stage weight next time was 52.6. So it was like 3 kilos less. So she was super conditioned, like she was ready. And you know, with bikini, they don't need you shredded; they just need you lean,
Yes.
right? So, so there she is now. She's done what she needed to. Went up there and came third. And then she lost to two girls that were not as conditioned as her. So the condition that she had 2 weeks ago probably would have served her better.
Yeah.
Actually, what they wanted was someone with fuller glutes. And obviously, when you suck down, you lose body fat, and like glutes are going to get smaller, right? It's just the way
Sure.
it goes. So she got penalised 2 weeks ago for not being in condition, and then 2 weeks later, they were rewarding the same shape that she got penalised for.
Was it different judges?
I think one was the same,
Right. Okay.
but yeah, it wasn't quite the same. But the one cool thing was the girl that won the overall 2 weeks ago, Amy beat her. So
Okay.
the girl that won the overall,
Yeah.
Amy beat her. So that was good. But yeah, she came third, and the two girls that were above her were not as conditioned. Like the girl who won was genuinely like kind of soft. So again, a little bit of a mind blown kind of thing. I couldn't really understand it. And then here's the other one as well. I watched the Supers, and this is no disrespect to him. Like I need to say, like he's obviously a good guy. I like him, even though I don't know him well, but I like him. Nath Heck, Heck Rules.
Yeah.
He came out, and I was sat with there was like three or four of us, and we all went, "Oh, he's off. He's off." Like he looked tired because bearing in mind he's been in shape since the universe.
Oh yeah.
That's like we're talking like 3 months. So he looked soft. He looked a little bit like.
Plus, he's
Anyway,
traveled a lot because he's done a few shows at different countries.
he's gone all over. He's gone all
Yeah.
over. His physique showed it, and we thought, you know what, amazing physique, but maybe it's time to wrap up. And that's fine.
Sure.
Anyway, he fucking won. He fucking won, and he was probably the most heavily muscled in the category,
Yeah.
or first or second, but his condition was definitely like lacking. But
Yeah.
they gave him the win.
Yeah,
And
but
the
the
guy,
thing is, you've got to remember, it's always just compared to the lineup.
sure, and I
So
totally get
if there
that.
was no one better, and he is a phenomenal bodybuilder,
Yeah, he is.
who's
Yeah.
going to beat him?
Well, in my opinion, again, it's just an opinion. It's like whatever the fuck that's worth. The guy who came fifth, I had him in first. He came out and he had so much detail in his legs. He was really broad up top, had a really appeasing midsection, massive shoulders, full chest, good
Who was
abs.
it?
I don't know him. I think he was
Oh, right,
foreign.
okay.
When he was doing his free posing, I was like, he's either first or second. He's first or second. The people we were with was like, yeah, he's definitely top three. He's like, yeah. Everyone was saying
Yeah,
the same thing. He came fucking fifth. And they
right.
gave Nath, who was honestly, again, no disrespect, he was the softest there. They gave
Yeah.
him the win. And I was like, okay. I don't know what to make of that really, but I think Nath at his best would have beaten them all. Well, the truth is, he beat them all anyway. But if he was at his best, he would have beaten them all. Yes, but I just
Yeah,
feel like
yeah,
he was
yeah,
a bit
yeah,
off. I don't
yeah.
know. I don't know.
I mean, that just shows, doesn't it? Like your physique kind of starts to deteriorate after a certain amount of time.
Yeah, you can't just hold it like forever, ever, and ever. Like it just no, I don't know. Um. Oh. Um. Also, we just released the podcast from last week with Connor. What do you make of the photos of the photos that you saw of him against that dude?
Yeah, so we spoke about this, didn't we? My personal opinion is again could be a little bit of a bias, but I would have still had Connor winning based on the shots. We didn't see any shots from the rear. I
Yeah,
don't
no,
think.
he did. He did. He put up the Black Blacks, I think.
Oh, really? Okay, I haven't seen those. But from the shots I saw, I would still have had Connor winning.
Yeah.
Just more of a just how I just preference. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean Connor looks bigger there, doesn't he?
Yeah. So you would still have Connor winning through preference.
Personally, yeah.
I,
However, I don't think the guy was as bad as I expected initially. I don't
yeah,
think
like
the guy.
he's pretty big, isn't he?
Yeah, I think the guy looks good. I'd still have Connor winning though. Yeah,
I would still have Connor winning, but the guy's good. He's got really fucking big legs as well.
he's got really big legs. It's just his midsection looks a bit.
Yeah.
Is what's probably letting him down.
I don't. I think. Yeah, same as you. I think Connor won, and he deserved to win. But it wasn't a whitewash like Connor said. In my opinion, it was like, yeah, you win, but it's not like that guy's shit and you're really good. I think it was actually a little bit closer.
Yeah, no, the guy was not shit. No, the guy
No,
was a good
he's good.
bodybuilder.
Yeah, he's definitely good. Yeah, I agree on that one, man. But yeah, it's funny. So Amy's just booked Austria now, so gonna give it another go.
What? How far out is that?
3 weeks,
So that's probably the same show as Connor then.
maybe. Yeah, maybe. We was gonna do Norway, which is like 2 weeks, well, a week and a half now. Austria, so it's 2.5 weeks. So yeah,
How's she gonna hold that condition for that long though? Or is she all right with that?
no, do you know what? Like, as I say, with bikini, they don't get super too like. It's not like it's okay. It's doing all right. Still sleeps through the night perfectly. She's
Really,
like, yeah, like it's fine.
mate.
Yeah.
Women are just so much tougher.
Well, imagine doing what you did, right? That you could sleep 8 hours a night. Imagine how much that would have changed everything.
100%.
It's probably the thing that fucked us over.
Always, yeah. Sleep, one sleep, and I know that everything's flowing nice. And then as soon as I have one shit night's sleep, everything goes to shit.
100%. Like when you just have a bad night's sleep, like not even to do with bodybuilding, just have a bad night's sleep. The next day is shit in it. It's always
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Terrible.
100%.
It's terrible.
Yeah,
It's so like it feels so fragile. The moment you like, it's a reason I've had a toothache.
yeah.
I had a toothache, and it's kept me up like until about half 2 in the morning,
Oh,
and then I woke up at about half 6. So it's like 4 hours sleep. It's just so shit.
mate, it's the worst.
It puts you
Yeah.
in a bad mood, doesn't it?
Oh, it does. Yeah, and it literally just like sets you up for like you're like in a like all day. You're grumpy. You're like just not, and that is true. That is so true.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so yeah, for Amy, man, she's
should be all right. Yeah.
What was that? What was that question as well? That question you asked
Oh
yesterday.
yeah. 4 grand a week. Four. Yeah. So 4 grand a week for the rest of your life, or 2 million now.
So
I thought about this. That's why I messaged you, and I'm like, there's just
where's your head go?
right. So work out the amounts. Right. 4 grand for a year is 200 grand. 200 grand a year. 50 weeks of 4 grand is 200 grand a year. In 10 years, you're getting to 2 million. Right? So, or 2 million now, and that's it, done.
So it would take you 10 years to get the same amount, or you could have it in one lump sum.
Yes.
So I think so. My answer is the 4 grand. I would take 4 grand a week
Okay. Why?
because number one, like in 2023, 2 million isn't the same as what it was. I remember when I was like 18.
Yeah.
We're talking fucking 18 years ago, for fuck's sake. Like 2 million was different.
Oh yeah.
Through inflation, it's just not the same anymore. Like if someone had £1 million, it was like a big deal. I feel like now, yes, it's still a big deal, but it's not the same
Oh,
because
I mean, a house is a mill now.
yeah. It's so much more common, right? So there's that, but then there's also this. I feel like I want to keep my normal life,
Right.
and if you start coming into a lot of money in one go, I feel like you're no, it's not life changing. So basically, what my thinking is if you have so much money, it ends up making you like separate from like other people.
Okay.
Like when someone's like super super rich,
Yeah,
hard to relate to other people. But when
yeah,
you've got like a modest amount of money, it makes you like more.
but that's still 16 grand a month.
Yeah, but that's just a really good wage.
Bro, who the fuck's earning 16 grand? Like, how many people, like normal people, are earning 16 grand a month every single month?
There's probably I do know some people who are earning that for sure.
On top of
Normal.
your
I know
money.
people. I know definitely. I know people who will be earning like 15 to 20 grand a month for sure. Like some people, like yeah. Think about like the best. Like I heard a rumor that pro coach Callum
Yeah,
did someone say it to you and I, or was it just me?
I can't remember.
Okay, okay, yeah. So apparently the business itself took like 8 million. 8 million. It's valued at 8 million. Pro coach brand.
I mean, yeah,
Whether or not that's true or not, I don't know. But it made me think. If you think about, he's got
I
like let's
mean,
say
8 million a year is putting you at like 800,000 a month, right?
yeah,
Ish.
yeah, yeah.
So you're talking 200 grand a week. No way. That's
Right. But I'm talking about the brand. I'm not talking about him. The brand.
okay. And what does the brand do? He's just got coaches.
Yeah.
He doesn't coach that many people. Come on, especially a lot of the people have left him now.
So let's say this. Let's say he's got 100 clients. That's really
Okay.
like reasonable, yeah. And
Yeah.
he charges £400 a month. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got 40 grand a month.
Okay. And that's still not 200 grand.
No, I agree. I agree. But
That's
his
still not
brand,
800 grand.
but the brand. So let's say 8 was wrong. Let's say 4 million because he's got like 10 coaches working for him, and let's say each
That's
coach
still
has
not
got.
happening because these coaches are just like picking up the scraps. And
Yeah,
they're not charging 400 quid a month. They're charging 150.
let's say he's got his fingers in other pies as well. But you know what? Fuck that number.
No, because we're just talking about that brand.
Yeah, it's very feasible that they could be taking like 100 grand a month.
Mm, just from coaching.
Yeah.
I think that they're taking 100 grand a month of coaching. And let's say his other coaches are charging 200 quid a month because they're
So
not charging any more than that.
yeah, 250. I know that already.
Okay. 250, right? So let's say each one of them, they don't all have 100 clients. Come on, that's not.
No.
Because you'd be hearing about it left and right.
Let's say they got 40 clients at 250,
Okay. That's 10 grand.
10 grand. And let's say there's like 4 of them.
Okay.
So then that's already run like 90 grand. Callum's money and then them.
Okay.
And let's say they've got some sponsorship deals, like because it's a brand now, they start like sponsoring things. And they get like they're worth more money because they invest in something. I don't know. It's not it's not crazy to say 100 grand a month.
100 grand a month, that's still only a mil a year. Just over.
I don't know who told me. It was
People
you.
inflate their numbers like it's a fucking it's bollocks. If you think of it logically, no way.
Yeah, I
These
agree.
people, his coaches are all taking like Callum's getting the percentage of it, but they're getting their money. So that's
they're
got
still
nothing to
taking
do
money.
with
Yeah.
that's got nothing to do with Callum.
So the person who told me, I don't know where the fuck the number came from. And he might even watch this. It was Ewan.
Right.
Yeah. So Ewan said to me, but I agree. It sounds unrealistic, but it's fucking serious wedge. But taking it back to that question, it's still normal. Okay, think about this. What would you reckon Martin Winston takes home a month? Tom Evolution.
Bro, they have a lot of clients, but the retention isn't high because they charge stupid amounts of money. And the people that go onto them, they don't stick around. So they leave. They come and go, come and go, come and go.
Each time they get a new person, it's fucking like 200 to 400 quid.
Mm-hmm. But for how long?
Let's say you get 100 people that come and go, and each one of them was like 250.
Yeah.
So that's 10 grand just from those.
But
But
it's
then they
not a
have
month. That's not
no.
monthly.
Yeah, that's that over a 6 month period.
Okay.
right? And then they've got the other ones like the regular clients. So it's probably fair to say Tom and Martin have probably got 100 each, probably, maybe more, maybe
Yeah,
150.
I don't know, because you don't see them post that many unless they're not posting their shit clients, but then they probably wouldn't take on shit clients. I don't think they're as busy as they make it out. I don't think they're as busy as they make it out.
Hold on, 100 times. I just said 10 grand. Actually, it's 25 grand. So if they have 100 clients that just come and go over a 6 month period,
Yeah,
it's potentially worth 25 grand for them. But yeah, I don't know. I think like 4 grand a week is probably what some like high level coaches are earning.
sure.
So it makes you like a lot more like normal. And I feel like
Yeah,
I want to stay more normal.
yeah. I mean, for sure, I'd say 4 grand, and with that 4 grand, you can kind of like invest
Sure.
because that's where money comes from. You don't just yeah, you make it 4 grand, but then you kind of need to like reinvest it into something.
Yeah. You need money to make money.
For sure. So you can kind of like start investing it rather than if you get a sum of 2 million, it's a little bit overwhelming on what you're going to do with it.
Yeah. So would you go with the 4 a week rather than the two? You would, yeah. I feel like it's a better way to distribute it, isn't it? It's a better way.
I feel like if you just get 2 million in one go, you're probably going to waste it a lot easier than
Yeah.
because you've got time to plan it.
Yeah, and I feel like 4 grand a week is just you know what it would do? It would just make you feel secure.
Sure.
It would give you security rather than like this massive lump sum. Like
Mhm.
you wouldn't really worry about money ever again.
Yeah. I mean, with 4 grand a week, you can literally not have to work or not do anything, sit on your ass, and you'll still be better off than like most people.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you touched on you've sort of like hinted towards stuff before. What do you have investments that you're putting in yourself? And are you
Yeah,
going to
I
start?
mean, like I've got lots of different things that I'm kind of like looking into and think and kind of like getting myself into. And I like that. I like that business side of things and like finance is a big motivation for me. Like a lot of people, I know you're not that bothered about it. You're like, as long as I've got enough money to where I'm comfortable, that's okay. I'm not that type of person. I'm that person that I'm like, no, I want to be a multi-millionaire.
Mm.
And that's kind of what I work towards. That's my thing. So that's my goal. So and this is the thing. It's like doing multiple different things that earn you money. So
What
that's
what are you? Is any of it you're able to talk about, or any
yeah.
not? Yeah.
Talk about all of it. I mean, like especially like we're kind of like talking about starting different things with businesses right now. Like I was looking at potentially doing a sunbeds a business with sunbeds, which something like that, or like just things that are outside of bodybuilding rather than potentially opening a tattoo shop. Um, Things that are outside of bodybuilding because I just think like the bodybuilding scene with the coaching and all that, and I'm kind of starting to get a bit like especially with the coaching, I'm just dealing with fucking idiots, and it's just I'm starting to get sick of it a little bit.
Some people make you not want to do the job anymore. Do you
I
find
can't
that
see
like?
myself wanting to do that. I mean, I'll probably always do it to some extent, but I can't see myself wanting to do that in years and years and years. I would not want that. I would want to be into, and again, something that is a lot larger scale because coaching is can only take you so far. Like it can only make you so much money.
Hmm, I sometimes I think about what the future holds for me, and I feel like yeah, if I were to be dealing with like the kind of client that just does your head in, you got to chase them, and like
Yeah.
I can't imagine me being like a in my 40s dealing with that still.
No way.
Something
No
has to
way.
change. So yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't really know what that means exactly, but
I mean,
yeah,
it's tough. It's tough because it's especially now for business is quite sketchy with things with inflation and stuff. It's not something you kind of want to start lightly. Um, People haven't got the money. People haven't got the money. Um, so it's one of those things that you kind of want to be careful and not just but at the same time, you kind of need to start somewhere. So
Definitely, man. I feel like there's such a big divide as well. Like, there's some people who are able to invest into X, Y, Z, and then I don't know about you, but I have so many new inquiries. Okay, I actually made a tally up. Last week I had 6 new inquiries. No one signed up. I had no
right,
new sign-ups last week because all of them had a problem, and the problem was money.
right, okay,
So they show interest, and they're like, "I'm gonna have to wait to the end of the month. I'm gonna have to wait to this." Like, and what I mean is, a lot of people just seem to struggle with money, and there seems to be such a disparity between people who have no money and then some people who've got so fucking much and can just do
yeah.
whatever. There's such a divide. It's crazy.
And especially, I think the people that haven't got the money, they're people that don't manage it properly. So they go and spend it on, and like I said to you, that for example, my car, like the reason I got rid of it is because I was just spending that amount of fucking money on fuel. I was probably putting in 150 quid a week on fucking fuel,
Yeah.
just on fuel. It's just stupid, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you need to be a little bit like I'm a little bit frivolous, to be honest with you. Like, just it's hard, just day to day. Day to day. I'm like, yeah, it's fine, yeah, it's fine, yeah, it's fine. Just here, there, and everywhere, 10, 20, 20, 30, 30, 10, like, all the time. Like on the weekend with Amy's show, I just dropped like, so there was this table, they were doing massages.
Yeah.
And I said, how much? Before I went on, and they said, well, you pay how much you feel it was worth. Weird, right? They said, we work with a charity, so it's anywhere between 20 and 50 quid.
Right.
She gave me a massage. It was actually really good. Just laid there, and she said, right, okay, that's it. And it was about probably 10 to 15 minutes. And I felt guilty. So I was like, she said, how much? And I went, 50 quid. And I was like, I just spent 50 quid for like a 10-minute massage
Oh, yeah.
because I felt guilty. Anyway, and then after that, I went over and walked to my house. I bought a t-shirt, and I dropped 100 quid within like 10 minutes or something. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Easily done. Easily
stupid,
done. Yeah.
stupid. But do you find that you're like that as well, just generally?
Oh,
You're not like that.
no, I'm not like that. I'm pretty good with my money. I'm pretty, again, I'll spend money on food, and like if we go out to eat, I'm not bothered about spending money because I'm like, if the food's good, I'm not bothered about that. But I won't waste money in that way, that I'm just kind of like reckless with it. Just because it, I'm like I said, the more you can save, and not save, but not blow. You know what I mean? Not just blow money like stupidly. So then the more you can actually put into something that will make you money. So,
Mhm.
you know,
I feel like I'm sort of in the middle. I am frivolous, but also I do like to sit on money a little bit. Sometimes I just like my bank account saying a nice number because it makes me.
because that
It makes,
makes you feel secure. If you haven't got money in your bank, you just think, fuck, like,
if
I'm
I knew
scared.
that like load of bills were coming out and my bank account was low, it would screw me up.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
so I like sitting on an amount.
Yeah.
But then I am a little bit frivolous. Well, I'm not in between. I'm in between. I feel like I wish I was a bit more like you. Like you're a little bit more, as you say, like money focused. I don't really have that so much.
Everything I do, I think about how can that make me money. Like and that's just, again, that's just me because I think like that. Even with like I said to you, the TikToks and that's been absolutely mental. In about, if it goes how it's been going, I could probably just do that full time in a year.
How does it actually monetize TikTok?
Loads of different ways, but the main one is through the views. So if you're getting, um, so roughly, you get 4 cents per 1,000 views. So it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're getting 10 million views a week, it's a decent amount. So if you're talking, 1 million views gets you about $400. No, $40. So if you get 10 million views a week, which I normally do, $400.
You get that's fucking mad. You're the video that keeps getting resurfaced, doesn't it? Of you saying about the ones that you're going to regret,
Which one?
the tattoos that you're going to regret.
Yes, so that one, that's the part two, because I did one like last year and that blew up again. But that video, yeah, that video got like, I think it's at like 8 million views or something. Yeah, and then like I said to you, most of my videos get like like some of them, like, you know, that one's 8.1 million. Yeah, 8.1 million. The one I put up the other day, 3 million. That one there, 3 million. And yeah, it's one of those things. And then from that, you can apply with different companies and run ads to your videos. So then you get paid by people obviously watching it. It's a little bit like in YouTube, like how YouTube pays you for the adverts. So ad revenue, there's loads of different ways. Sponsorship with different companies. You do TikTok Shop, where you, through the videos, you promote different products, which these companies then pay you for that. Make TikTok, some of the bigger TikTokers are just insane. They're probably making millions.
Wow. Fucking madness.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like it would be wise to start thinking about life after bodybuilding. You know, like after coaching, what the next venture is. I don't, because right now, honestly, I couldn't. I don't have this. I don't have a Scooby Doo. I have nothing.
Yeah.
I have like. So it's something.
I'm
to think
already
about.
there. I'm already thinking about that, because I'm starting to get sick of the whole coaching scene, especially because it's so saturated. And it's not just like, it doesn't make us struggle to get clients, but they're not the clients I want, because they're almost clients that kind of like, they want that easy fix, and you know, it's kind of like, I just don't seem to enjoy it as much as I used to.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I go in phases. So yesterday I had about 5 poor check-ins in a row, and it affects my mood. Like, I don't know, after the fifth one, I'm almost like, I can't even be bothered. And it was a long voice note, and they're explaining to me how they couldn't do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
I find myself skipping through. I can't even give it time because I'm like, you're wasting my life. Like, literally, you are. So yeah, I get that. But then sometimes I have a great day, and I'm like, no, do you know what? I love it.
Sure. If you get the right clients, but like for every one client, you get 5 back. For every one good one, you get 5 bad ones.
Yeah. But do you not think that would be true with like most businesses though? Sometimes you got to take the rough with the smooth.
I'm sure. Yeah, for sure. But I think like once you've done it for because the thing is, you're looking at progression, right? When you first start, you think, okay, let me try and get myself to 10 clients, then 20 clients, then 30 clients. And like I said to you, at one point last year, 60 clients near on. And it's just, it gets to a point where you just think 60 clients, half of them are time wasters, right? Which are just kind of like, just pay you money for nothing because they're not progressing. And I just think, I just can't, I don't want to be doing that. I just want people that are actually interested in that, and they can't be. They're not, you know.
100%. Yeah. I think like a lot of people when they say about their numbers, they're like, "Oh, I've got X amount of clients." But to be honest with you, you could probably get rid of like 25% of your clients like that. Like 25% are just shit. Let's be honest. I don't try.
Remember I said to you last year, I was at about 60, and then beginning of January, I literally dropped about 20 because I was like, right, I'm starting prep. All the people that stress me out and waste my fucking time, gone. So right there, I was at 40. And then now I'm down to about 30, 25.
Yeah. But it's like people that they try.
They're all people that I want to work with.
Mm.
And that are no hassle for me, no fucking stress. But like I said to you, I'm almost thinking about, I'm always gonna coach, but I'm kind of thinking, right, now I want to put my energy into something else. So that's gonna be like the next step.
Do you reckon these people know that they're draining? Or do you think they're oblivious to it?
I don't think they care because they're like, well, I'm paying him money.
Oh, I hate that. Do you know what? Like, just because you pay me money, it doesn't mean I'm like your skivvy. It doesn't mean I'm like now like indebted to you. Like, you pay for a service, I give you the service, but don't expect me to drop my whole life. You know, like,
I think there's like that level of progression. I think one of the first coaches that kind of like took that step away from the coaching was Jace. I mean, think he was everywhere. He was coaching everyone. He was at one point, he was probably the biggest coach on the UK scene. Would you agree?
I'd agree, yeah.
And then now you don't really hear much of him.
He actually got a winner on the weekend. He got
yeah. The wellness.
But no, you're right. You're right. It's like smaller now, isn't it? It seems smaller. I feel like it's because he's like an entrepreneur. He has his finger in so many different pies.
That's what I mean. And that's kind of what you want. I think that's the way forward, because it's not coaching. It's kind of like, okay, I did that ran its course, and now it's time for something else.
Yeah. Food for thought, that mate. Food for thought. Definitely
And
makes me
that's kind
think.
of how I feel. I think
Yeah.
for you it's a little bit different because you're at the peak of your career now, so you're kind of living it.
Yes.
I think once you start thinking about, right now bodybuilding is kind of done with, what can I put majority of my time into?
I tell you what, mate. Throughout my whole life, I've never really overthought things. I'm a firm believer of like things will fall into place where they need to. Like
Yeah.
doors open. Like the door doesn't even exist right now. But
Yeah.
once you start putting yourself out there in towards other things, doors open. So I tend not to worry too far in the future because I think
Yeah, but I think if you don't think about these things, how is that going to come up? Like, you still need to be like actively thinking about these things, and for that to actually even become a thing.
okay, yeah. So that okay. So you still need to be like networking or whatever you need to do to make those doors open. But for example, like when I started coaching, I never thought that 8 years down the line I'd be here. Like to me, I just thought, whatever, just whatever.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
doors just open. So I'm confident enough in my mindset, my I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like my intellect, I'm confident enough that I can make something work. So yeah,
It's
I
tricky,
guess
that, especially now. Like I said, you find a lot of people are finding it hard to, like, coaching prices are going up, and you're finding it that it's harder and harder for people to actually want to pay these prices.
definitely. To be honest, I can't justify more than the amount I charge. I just don't think it's worth it. I don't. Not because I don't believe in myself, but I just think it's silly. Like, why
Yeah.
is someone who's just a lifestyle client going to want to pay 250 pound a month? Why? Why?
Well, I tell you what, last year when I had 60 clients, I was charging everyone 80 quid a month, right? Now I do 120, just because I've got less clients, but it kind of equals out to about the same.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but yeah,
yeah.
I even 80 quid a month, I think even 80 quid a month for what you do, for what we do.
Well, do you know what? It depends, right? So I would say some people I work hard for. Some people don't need a lot of work. Some people don't need a lot of
When you
work.
say you work hard for you, that's not hard, because
No,
looking at someone's plan and going, pull 10 grams of rice. No, that's not hard work. Like, it's time consuming for us, right? But I tell you what, the level of clients that I don't take on clients that need babysitting and me having to check over all their form and things like that on training. I don't want to work with those people. So for people that I work with, they're pretty much people that like know what they're doing.
right. Okay, that's an interesting point there. So, like something goes wrong with your plumbing under your sink, in your sink, right? In your kitchen. You call out a plumber. He charges you 150 pounds for the call out. What it took for him to fix it was easy as fuck. But you
You pay
paid
for
for
the experience.
that's it. And you might downplay it, but actually what compared to a guy just coming up is
Yeah,
quite
yeah, yeah,
vast. You have a
yeah.
great knowledge base and people
Yeah,
want
yeah,
that.
sure. Yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
No, no, no. For sure, for sure. For sure that. But I almost think like, if now you kind of charge less, you're almost like, people go, well, I asked this guy, this guy, and this guy. Why is this guy only charging half of what this guy's going to charge me? And they think, well, he must not be as good. So you
100%.
might have to charge more.
Yeah, it gives the perception of value, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's so mad, isn't it? Like, imagine charging £400 a month. Imagine the fucking nerve to charge for like, fuck off. No way. I just don't like. I charge 150, and I know that that's quite steep for a lifestyle client. That's steep, of course it is.
Sure.
But what that does, that enables me to live the lifestyle I lead, and I've earned the right to be here through fucking 17 years of training. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah,
and 8 years
yeah.
of competing. So yeah,
Oh, and that's completely fair. Like for sure. I think also it's just a retention of clients, because a lot of these people that charge that much money, they kind of go, right, I'm going to sign up with that guy. I'm going to see what he does. And after about 2 months, I'm going to leave because I'll know what he does. When
sure.
what they're not getting, it's not There's nothing magical about the diet. The same diet that I'm gonna write you, or you're gonna write, or Callum's gonna write, it's probably the same shit, right? But what it is that accountability. And I think sometimes when you pay more, you're more like accountable. That the more you pay, the more accountable it makes you.
So true, so true. But also, you know, it's like it's having that experience die. Like, imagine, okay, the example I can think of is when I joined Jamie Jahal. I know that you don't admire him the way I do, but 3, 4 years ago when I joined him, because I admired him so much, the fact that I had access to him and he was giving me his opinion on stuff, it made me feel good. I was like, shit, this guy who's like, for a guy of that level, he's like one of the most elite bodybuilders in the world, you know, given that height. And the fact that I had access to him, it made me feel good. So
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it is, and I like to think, you know, there might be certain people that admire someone who's won X amount of bodybuilding shows and stuff, you know, and they could admire. Yeah, I think that's the same with you as well. That they don't have the knowledge. You think that it's common knowledge, like certain things that you think everyone knows, but they don't.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so that they really admire you for having that level of knowledge as well.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, I get that. I get that. But I still think a lot of the price is just fucking rip off.
No doubt about it. I can't believe someone charges fucking, especially like you know what we talked about before, £250. Fucking, I'm not going to mention his name, but and he wasn't even watching his videos. It was taking 3 days to get back to him, and £250. What for? Pathetic, mate.
That's like a quarter of some people's earnings every month.
I know, I know, I know. Some people, yeah, they're like their gross earnings, like whatever. And then after like mortgage, rent, and all that, then they've only got like how much left to play with. Like,
I mean, I could pay that, but I couldn't justify it.
yeah, exactly. It's not about not being able to afford it. It's about it's not worth it. Worth it. That's kind of how I feel with growth hormone as well. I know growth hormone is beneficial, but the price of it pisses me off. Unless you can get a deal or you know someone or something, it's not really like it's just a lot. It's like fucking £300 a month for the layman. For the layman, it's like fucking £300 a month. It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Something that
Oh,
doesn't give you a
yeah.
huge result.
Especially if you're not actually an advanced bodybuilder,
Yeah.
it's just a giant waste of money.
Compare that to testosterone.
Yeah, yeah,
Testosterone will cost the average person 40 quid, and it's going to give you so much more, so much more. You know. But I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
But mate, anyway, should we call time on that?
Yeah, I think we've been on for like what, hour and 45.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think so.
You find the shorter podcasts do better than the long ones.
Yeah, I feel like last week's was like 2 hours 40 or something. It's a bit too long, I think.
Yeah, that's long. That was long.
Like, imagine if you saw a podcast on YouTube, if you saw that it was 2 hours plus, you'd be like, if you
And as
saw,
long as you've got timestamps, I'm okay with that.
yeah, we don't do enough of that. We need to start doing that again.
I don't mind doing them.
Okay, we'll do that then.
Yeah,
We get timestamps on.
yeah,
Perfect. All right, mate.
Oh, mate. All right. Speak to you
Catch you
soon.
later.
Then.
Have a good week. Cheers, mate.